And let me start here with Mr. Meher. And Mr. Meher, how would you assess the recent diplomatic meeting in Istanbul between Tehran and the E3 nations, given that it was the first since the 12-day war in mid-June? And were the outcome encouraging enough to signal a genuine renewal of diplomacy?
I'm delighted to join you today. To make a long story short, I would say it's a meeting for nothing, because to use a theatrical metaphor, it was a dialogue of the deaf. So the Iranians and the Europeans no longer speak the same language. And why don't they speak the same language? Because what happened during the 12 days war was a big shock to the Iranian regime. And the way it ended, so it ended abruptly against the will of Israel, because Israel wanted a longer war. Israel wanted to drag down America into a very long war in the Arabian-Persian Gulf, and President Trump did not want to. So he ended the war after 12 days in a very authoritative way. But one of the biggest victims of the 12 days war is Europe, because today Europe's presence in the Middle East, troika is a Russian word, which means a chariot or a car driven by three drivers or three horses. And who are the three horses here? It's Britain, France, and Germany. And Britain and France, they had economic and military interests in the Arabian-Persian Gulf until recently, but today they're completely diminished powers. They're practically out of the Middle East, and Germany was kicked out of the Middle East in the year 1917. That's a long time ago. And what I'm coming at is the world changed dramatically 6 months ago when President Trump entered the White House. We moved from a world governed by what you could call international bureaucratic laws. These international bureaucratic laws, of course, were not always implemented equally and fairly, but they existed. And there was kind of an international order, it all blew away 6 months ago with President Trump's entering the White House. It's a very different kind. You mentioned that President Trump canceled the first Iran nuclear deal in 2018. It's true. Back then in 2018, Trump was a very weak president, because when he came to power the first time, his own party, the Republican Party, was hostile to him. And the Pentagon and the CIA and the FBI bureaucrats, most of them were hostile to him. So the first Trump presidency, he was a diminished president with a hostile Congress, hostile Senate. His own party was largely against him. Fast forward today, it's a different kind of America. Trump took control of the Republican Party before winning the election. And the first thing he did when he entered the White House in February, he took control of the CIA, Pentagon, and the high-level bureaucrats. So what Trump is doing now is really what he always wanted to do, to bring the world to a new order, an order dominated by the rivalry between China and America.